you've only felt lost when you felt disconnected from who
That's
you
right.
really are.
That's
Yeah.
right. And you know, the moment you do connect with your joy, you know and it sounds so cliche, but it's true. It's whatever it is that you really love doing. And it doesn't have to be something that, or it must be some serious endeavor, useful to society or useful to someone or something.
Yep.
It can be just something that you love. It could be like I don't know, I love singing and I'm gonna sing every morning from now on because this is giving me joy. You don't know what that does to your life. You're not doing it because you're expecting anything. You're doing it just because it gives you joy. But in that moment you're surrendered, which means that then there is space for the unknown, I guess, the things that we don't know that they're coming for us, they are awaiting for us to show up. And to create that space is not easy because we get caught into the idea that we have to know and we have to do things. And in that sense, connected as well with your question is, the plants are amazing teachers of this because they take their time. And we are not so good at taking a wider perspective and realizing that there are many layers to existence, which is not just the experience right now, what I'm having right now. It's like that experience is filtered through so many conditionings that most likely the experience that you're having right now is not even real. In the sense, it's not really reflective of who you are. It's reflective of the conditioning and the ancestral line. Where did you come from? What was the experience of your parents and grandparents before that, that brought you here? And those are still playing inside us. We are made of them as well. And unless we bring them to awareness, then they keep playing on us and we keep doing things and get concerned and worried about stuff that is not even relevant to our life. In my case, for example, my dad is, especially from his background, so I know that he's also probably my grandparents and their parents. There was this generation of like, if you work hard, you get, life rewards you if you work hard.
Same.
And
same with me.
And hey, I am a hard worker. I love, when I love what I'm doing, I work really hard.
Sure.
But the love what I'm doing needs to be there. And for those generation, a lot of the time was a sense of duty. I have to. Absolutely. And if you don't work hard, then you're not being a good person.
Useless.
That's right. That's right. That's a good word. And instead having to deconstruct that conditioning, for example, which of course is totally embedded in here. And if I think about earlier on in my career, I worked really hard just for the sake of like, you have to be good, you have to perform, you have to, you have to be useful and
contribute.
And contribute at the top of the best that you can do, So always thriving for that. And then, if I look at the second part of my career, I worked actually much harder than I've ever did, but it was a different kind of working hard. It was a working hard out of like, I'm on a mission, instead of like, I've got duty. It is more like I'm on a mission, and the mission comes from my heart and it's pulling me forward. So I have to do everything as I can because this is a privilege. But it's not a privilege just because it's something special that happens to me. It's a privilege that we all have when our heart calls and it's like, this is what you come to do, this is what you love doing, and finally you're doing it, so we're gonna conspire to give you everything and all the support. And then suddenly it looks like life happens like magic and all these
miracles. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Strange meeting, things that they look like that's impossible, how could that have it happen? But that's life.
That's so beautiful and encouraging. I love it so much. It's so yeah, I'll just add that I know a lot of people struggle with the common term now is like, self-care and self-love. And like you mentioned about wanting to just sing and without judgment and just letting yourself do it. And for me, it's like letting myself not work and right. Maybe paint and do some art, or God forbid, just go to the beach for a few hours and sit there. it's something I have to admit, it's not easy for me. I am just like born and bred a workaholic for my value, for my contribution. I get major issues feeling guilty, not working, because I feel very fortunate with my life. And there's so many people that suffer, and oh my God, I got to help. And it's a struggle for me. I still vacillate a little bit. I'm getting better. But I understand very well this thing that many of us, and I've said even in my story that I've shared with people growing up in New England with the Puritan work ethic. Sounds like you had it too. You know, my family, workaholic, nose to the grindstone, pay your dues, keep going, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, don't have the luxury of feeling what, God forbid, what you want to do, you know, but anything else is really lazy and indulgent. So still trying to reprogram my brain to allow myself what I feel is, I don't want to say indulgent, but lazy. I don't know, just kind of, well, maybe indulgent. But what I'm starting to learn, Monica, is that that's the plane where spirit and consciousness lives. You know,
That's right.
That's why we want to do it. And it's because you're getting on the frequency of that beautiful vibe. You're jumping on that boat to ride that wave that then, like you said, leads to the divine synchronicities and the connections and the magic. Otherwise, you're just not on the right boat. You know, you're just paddling up the river all the time in the struggle. So it's not easy, but I get it. I know what you're talking about.
That's right.